A Buddhist monk once said, "Many roads lead to the path, but basically there are only two: reason and practice." I believe food retailers naturally gravitate toward reason and practice when it comes to their businesses. Food retailers have always been nimble and adaptable, and their approach is no different when it comes to the issues they face in the industry. For example, this year the nation experienced the longest U.S. government shutdown in history, creating a lack of funds to implement key programs like the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which are important to improving access to healthy food across the country. Or DIR fees charged to pharmacies have grown more than 45,000% over the past 10 years. We've seen our share of changing landscapes and the way food retailers are successfully adapting by staying ahead of the consumer, finding hidden gems in the disruption, and turning costs into gains. Here are just a couple of the accomplishments I'm most proud of this year. As an association, we witnessed landmark history this summer. FMI, on behalf of the food retail industry and the customers it serves, achieved a U.S. Supreme Court victory with a vote of 6-3 in its fight to protect retailer and shopper privacy, specifically achieving a ruling that the SNAP sales data of individual stores is not recoverable via the Freedom of Information Act.
Each year, 7,000 plus important cases vie to be heard by the U.S. Supreme Court. FMI's case was one of only 70 that were heard this session, and one of only a handful argued that resulted in a definitive, favorable decision that crossed ideological lines. USDA was hours away from releasing the confidential data as required by the court when the Texas Supreme Court issued a stay. Then at the last minute, the United States Supreme Court followed Texas's lead and issued a stay and agreed to hear our case. Today, the FMI standard is the law of the land, preserving the confidentiality of business information throughout the government.
Now, some things are just out of our control, but I'm a big believer in controlling what we can. FMI's board of directors provided us with direction to help prevent contamination to leafy greens, to increase communication across the entire supply chain, to protect consumers and the safety of products, and to effectively respond to food safety incidents should they occur again.
When the government issued a nationwide consumer advisory on all romaine lettuce just days before the biggest food holiday of the year, the operational impact was massive, and the repercussions continue today. FMI's Food Protection Committee went through a process of identifying the most important issues, determining the retail and wholesale industry actions, and the likelihood of success of those actions. The result of our investigation is a new tool for food retailers and wholesalers, the FMI recommended food safety practices for leafy greens. Public health is priceless, and preventing contamination is always the priority, followed by detection and response.
This is going to be an ongoing narrative on how food safety interacts with our organization and then with our eventual customers. So we have a responsibility to communicate to the government and to our members and to all those that are impacted by any issue of food safety. I think the last 2 years of FMI have been full of energy, and I would call it a recommitment or a renewal of vows of the membership, of the members to FMI and then of FMI to its members. We've changed who can be a member, so suppliers are now able to come in, they're able to share their voice. Different types of retailers are now able to come in and share their perspective. We've modified our strategic plan, and it's going to be the consumer, our customer, that's going to determine where they're going to go for their goods and services. As they change, we must change.
Challenges and opportunities presented by technology, in-store innovations, changes in food production, and emerging roles in the workforce that were never before needed in the industry should be addressed and embraced by food retailers and their trading partners if they are to thrive in this climate of accelerated change.
And I think that FMI is built to flex, change, modify, so that our music as we go forward will continue to be beautiful.